Halli, hallo. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about adjectives and how they function in German sentences, German grammar, stuff like that. Largely, if you've been using adjectives correctly, you've been using them as predicate adjectives. That is, adjectives that come after the verb, essentially. For example, my foot is stinky, right? Stinky is our adjective. It comes after the verb. The carpet is blue, after the verb once again. The book is green. So predicative Adjektive, or predicate adjectives, are distinct from attributed adjectives. With attributed adjectives, the adjective would come before the noun that it's modifying, right? So instead of my foot is stinky, it would be my stinky foot, I don't know, has a sock on it. The blue carpet has a stain. The green book reads quickly. Okay? So in German, it's much more complicated than that. And I will tell you that this is probably the most complicated in terms of sheer quantity of things to pay attention to. Sort of grammar points that you can ever try to learn in German. So try to give yourself some grace when learning this if it's not intuitive, because it is complicated. Okay, so here we have our friend Leah, and she mentions Adventskalender in her video. And she says that her parents sent her some cheap ones. So here we have, der Adventskalender ist billig, right? And so there we have that adjective in the predicate, ein prädikative Adjektiv, oder ein prädikatives Adjektiv. But in the next sentence, we have it attributed. Der billige Adventskalender kommt aus Deutschland. And we do the same thing with all of these sentences, right? Die Trinkflasche ist türkis. Die türkise Trinkflasche gehört Lea. Das Mädchen ist noch jung. So jung is our adjective after the verb, right? And the attributed version. Das junge Mädchen wohnt derzeit in Texas. The young girl lives at this time in Texas. And then finally we have our plural. Die Mappen sind bunt. And die bunten Mappen sind in Rucksack. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video, look at the adjectives, and tell me what changes from the sentence where the adjectives are in the predicate to the sentences where the adjectives are attributed. Okay, so pause, take a look. Okay, so this is what it breaks down to. So for nouns preceded by definite articles, so der, die, das, die, in the nominative, it's right? So der billige Adventskalender. Same with the feminine, die türkise Trinkflasche. Same with neutral, das junge Mädchen. Those are your adjective endings for der, die, das, and then for the plural, it's en, die bunten. Okay. So where we were just looking at adjective endings for nouns preceded by the definite article, der, die, das, in the nominative, here they are preceded by indefinite articles, eine, and because you cannot have a plural, ein, we have a possessive pronoun, which is still what's considered an Einwort. It means it follows the patterns of those words, eine, like kein, keine, kein, mein, meine, mein, ihre, right? Okay. So we have ein Adventskalender ist billig. Ein billiger Adventskalender kann auch schön sein. Eine Trinkflasche ist etwas teuer. Eine teure Trinkflasche ist nichts für mich. Ein Mädchen ist jung. Ein junges Mädchen wohnt in Texas. Ihre Mappen sind bunt. Ihre bunten Mappen machen Spaß. So, maybe it won't take you long, but pause the video, take a look at the adjectives in the predicate, and then the adjectives attributed when they're preceded by an indefinite article. And tell me what those endings are, or tell yourself. Okay. So, ein billiger, that's ER. So in the masculine, in the nominative, ein billiger Adventskalender. In the feminine, eine teure, so I, eine teure Trinkflasche. In the neutral, ein junges, so ES. And then in the plural, when preceded by an indefinite article or something like it, like kein, mine, and those things, it's EN, just like in the previous case with definite articles, right? Ihre bunten Mappen. The final slide here with examples is for when something is unpreceded by an article at all, right? So think of the phrase, don't cry over spilt milk. Spilt milk is unpreceded by an article. It is not, do not cry over the spilt milk, though you could say it. That's not what people say. It is not, do not cry over a spilt milk. You could say that, but it's not what people say. People use that in an unpreceded way. Spilt is an adjective, right? So do not cry over spilt milk. Those are the kind of examples that we're looking at on this slide. Der Wein ist rot. Roter Wein ist lecker. Die Milch ist fettarm. It's low in fat. It literally translates, fettarm is fat poor, meaning it's wanting for fat, right? Fettarme Milch ist meine Lieblingsmilch. Das Bier ist gut. Gutes Bier ist nicht schwer zu finden. Good beer is not hard to find. Die Energy Drinks sind pink. Pinke Energy Drinks sind super. Okay, so take a look at these. Tell me what the endings are for something that's unpreceded in the nominative. Okay, so unpreceded masculine, ER. Unpreceded feminine, E. Unpreceded ES, or sorry, unpreceded neutral, ES. And then in the plural, it's just an E. Okay? So here is all of that in all of its glory, right? Now there's going to be a homework activity or a couple homework activities where you practice this, okay? I will repeat. This is difficult. This is probably the toughest thing to grasp because there's so many options. Be patient with yourself. It's just getting used to it. And I will admit that I did not learn these very precisely until I was teaching it. So it is just a matter of understanding the theoretical, that this theoretically happens, and trying to pick out when is the correct time to use what, okay? So good luck with that. Let me know if you have questions. Ciao.